This is our next example, and we're going to work out the level or the height of each of the points as we traverse our site. Starting on the left hand side, our first reading, which is 2.846, is the staff reading, and at that point we know that the height or benchmark is a value of 23.348 meters. As we move across our site, we've had to make a number of change stations. The level is moved initially from station 1 to station 2, then from station 2 to station 3, then from station 3 to station 4, so that we can get all the values of the points we want to measure recorded. All our measurements are completed in meters. The first thing we're going to do with the rise and fall calculator is to remove the previous set of data. To do that, highlight the cells we have in green and delete. So we're clearing the back site, the intermediate site, and the foresight columns. We're also going to remove the reduced level, and we're going to remove all the remarks. So that gives us a blank spreadsheet to work with, and we're going to fill in values for backside, intermediate site, and foresight as we go through our example. We're also going to enter in our reduced level and remarks so we know which of the reduced levels relate to each of the points. Starting on the left hand side, when the level is at station 1, we enter in our first reading. Our first reading will be a backside reading. The value is 2.846. With this reading, we can enter in the reduced level because we know the reduced level at this point, 23.348. And under remarks, we can enter in the comment of benchmark. Next, we can enter in the next reading, which relates to point A. It is an intermediate reading, and we enter it in on the second row under IS, 2.501. Next reading relates to point B. Again, an intermediate reading, 1.823. Next point is point C. Again, an intermediate reading, 2.375. Next reading for point D. Point D, this is the last reading when the level is at station 1 and therefore will be a foresight. So we enter in this reading under the foresight column, value of 3.955. The staff is kept at position or point D. The level is moved, and when the level is moved, backside reading is taken to point D. So you'll have two readings at point D. The first reading after the level is moved to station 2, 1.375. Next point, point E, intermediate reading, 1.705. Next reading, point F, 2.0 2.383. Next point, point G, again an intermediate reading, 2.258. Point H, 2.023. Point I, intermediate reading, 2.368. And point J, this is the last reading before the level is moved. So it is a foresight, so the value is entered underneath the foresight column, 1.383. The staff is held in position at point J. The level is moved to station 3. First reading that is taken after the level is moved is a backside reading, and the value is entered underneath the backside column, 2.235. Next point, point K. This is an intermediate reading, 0.871. At station 3, point L is the last reading, so this value is entered underneath the foresight column. The last reading that is taken, 0.521. The staff is held at point L. The level is moved. It is moved, repositioned to station 4, and your first reading is a backside reading taken at point L. The value is 1.914. Next point, point M. This is an intermediate reading, 0.570. Point N, again an intermediate reading, 0.815. Point O, intermediate reading, 1.799. Point P, 2.345. Point Q, this is the last reading we take at station 4, therefore it is a foresight reading entered underneath the foresight column, 3.824. All the values have now been entered into our spreadsheet calculator. Once our values have all been entered into the spreadsheet will then look at readings and the subsequent readings after that and determine whether it represents a rise or a fall. Here with our first reading of 2.846, the next reading after that one is 2.501. The second reading is smaller than the preceding reading. The difference is worked out. Because the second reading is smaller, it represents a rise. Difference is worked out and placed under the rise column. Conversely, take an example of 2.375. The next reading after that value is 3.955. The second reading is larger. The difference between the two readings is worked out and the value is placed under the fall column. The spreadsheet will look through each set of readings and the readings preceding and determine whether the difference represents a rise and places a value under the rise column, or whether it represents a fall and then places the difference under the fall column. The initial reduced level is entered in, and the spreadsheet will use the rise to add it to the preceding reduced level, or will use the vol value to take it away from the preceding reduced level. All the reduced levels are then calculated. There are a number of numerical checks that can be performed on the spreadsheet. The initial one is to add up all the backside readings, add up all the foresight readings, and work out the difference between the two totals. Here we have minus 1.313. The next numerical check is to add up all the rise values, add up all the fall values. Our two totals are given in blue. Work out the difference between the total of the rise and the total of the falls, minus 1.313, and this concurs with the difference from the total backsights and foresight calculation. The last numerical check is on the reduced levels, where we take the last reduced level and take away the first reduced level. Again, we get a difference of minus 1.313. All the three numerical checks have the same value, and that gives us confidence in the values being entered in correctly